came from nothing.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast, where we discuss and celebrate our favorites in TV and film. I'm your host, Xavier, and today I have the distinct pleasure, I don't know if I would say pleasure, but we'll get there, but we have the distinct privilege of being able to speak about a particular movie that's going around a lot of discourse lately, and as I mentioned last week, it's pretty much forced to watch this one. But despite that, we have a very special guest joining us on the Popcorn Watchlist panel. But before we go introduce our special guest, we're going to go and give the roundup with the rest of the guys. Say hello, Danny, Zach, and Anthony.
Hello. Yo.
Hello.
Ooh, really deep there. All right. But we thought it'd be fun because this special guest got a chance to watch it with Danny. And it would be none other than Tina. Say hi, Tina.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
You're not doing okay.
I don't know. Am I hiding it? We're hiding it. We're getting through
You
it.
don't sound too convincing, man. I don't know.
Well, with that being said, we've kind of led up to it. So we watched the one and only, the once-in-a-lifetime theater cinematic experience known as Madam Web. But it's not going to be all doom and gloom. We're not going to just completely go, full shotgun into this movie and just, completely tear it apart.
Not yet.
But I not yet. No.
Not yet.
But I really wanted to kind of, get everybody's takes on it. I know I was extremely hesitant to watch the movie, and I'll, I think we'll all go ahead and share our thoughts. But I think there might be, maybe there's some bright spots there that we can, kind of figure out from there. But, it's interesting to be able to talk about this movie and not have to talk about, I guess, the wide spectrum, or there's maybe a general consensus that it's just a certain movie that it's not like The Room bad, but it's just it's a movie that you're just like, whoa, there's a lot of choices that were made.
Well, The Room is really enjoyable. Despite how bad of a movie
Zach thinks it's a cinematic art masterpiece.
Because it's so bad that you laugh so much at it that you have a good time.
Yes. And this isn't one of those. This isn't one of those.
It could be.
movies.
I heard a lot of people laughed a lot in this movie.
Yeah, they laughed at it, not with it.
Yep.
But there is a difference sometimes, and sometimes you can laugh with or laugh at, and by laughing at, you're therefore laughing with. Yeah, it all comes full circle.
I saw some bad movies last year. Expendables 4 was a bad movie.
The Meg 2.
The Meg 2 sucks that they're both Jason Statham movies, because I love Jason Statham. Meg 2 was bad. But the Meg 2, I was laughing at it, and it was hilariously bad. But in both of those bad movies, there weren't these things that were there was no really terrible ADR like there was in this movie. Things that really stood out to me that I just normally I probably wouldn't point it out because it was probably done semi properly, but in this movie to me it felt like there was a lot of technical issues that maybe they didn't have enough time to do them properly, and they were just it is what it is, let's just do it this way. And I don't know.
I think that thematically, I knew it's sort of what the movie was trying to do, especially with considering the main character and the three young girls. There is a sort of bond or coming of age, sort of they're looking for guidance because the three of them have their own individual issues that are going on, and so they were looking for sort of a mother figure between all of them. But a lot of the technical stuff just got in the way of trying to make that happen. And it's just very distracting. And also this villain is basically if I took a stick figure and cut it out and then put it on screen, that's the villain. Like he's extremely awful. But yeah, it's extremely awful. It's just like this is supposed to be this threat that's going after him. You're just like, this guy just makes no sense. And like, he makes no sense. But he makes whatever. Like it's kind of bad. But like Anthony said, like every time he spoke, like I know the actor's like decent because he was in Napoleon. And like if somebody like Ridley Scott's gonna put you in a movie, it's not like, hey, I'm gonna put you in as like a charity case. Like, hey, you can act. But I think it's like there was so much weird technical stuff, and maybe like the studio was doing like made a whole bunch of changes that they just like cut that man out, and then told him to go into a recording booth and record lines. Because you can even tell, like when he spoke, like he was like his voice was completely like not in tone with the person. It was a different volume. It's very distracting and pretty.
Or
terrible.
They would cut away or like shoot from behind him, so it looks like he's talking, but like clearly. Yeah. Not that same scene.
Like I don't know. Like I know. Like what did you think overall? Like this guy that's like chasing after these girls. Like or like was he believable? Or is he like this guy? This is goofy as hell. Like this doesn't make any sense. Like what do you think?
I mean, from what we discussed before we started the podcast, we all agree to have a different perspective from it. I think overall, though, it could have been a TV show, and probably there would be more room to explain the some stories, how the things came about, whatnot. And a lot of details that maybe there was not enough time to show. That was something that wasn't considered. But just like any bad guy, he had something that he stole from someone that was good, and now he's threatened by someone that can take it away. I thought he was your cliche bad guy.
Cliche bad guy. No, there was 3 people who could take it away for some reason. But I mean, they did mention in the end, like, oh, it's just because he stole it, so we cursed him. Like, that was it. That was the whole thing. Like, we stole it, he stole our power, so now he's cursed. Like, that was literally one line. I was like, okay, that's his... But, like, wonder if it would have been cool if somehow the villain knew that, and he's like, oh, damn, like, I think, like, I have to, like, fight off this curse or something. It would have been more motivation instead of just, I saw 3 hot chicks that look like spiders, now they're going to beat me up and kill me.
But he should have known that because he had a line that said, I've been searching for this longer than you. That was in the first 2 minutes of the movie. But, I guess he didn't know about the curse.
The more I think about it, it's more the guy just like I don't understand anything that he's doing. Like it just he has motivation, but it's just like where it comes from makes no sense.
But if he sees that in the future they're gonna kill him in his apartment, why don't you just like move or go somewhere else?
Because he doesn't want them. He didn't want them to take everything he's built.
He built that apartment.
But doesn't he say like he has seen the vision and from different points? Like
he says every night.
Yeah,
I see the same vision.
The same vision.
3 women.
Correct. Like he sees the same 3 women. So that means like it doesn't matter what he does. He ends up encountering these women. So that's the whole thing of him wanting to let me get to them first before they get to me.
But by getting to them first, you're.
But all he has is a vision.
He didn't know that.
He doesn't
remember.
Yeah, he doesn't have Madam Web's power. All he has is a vision and a dream that comes to him. So it's not like, which is what I think ultimately end up happening is like, because he only has a vision and he was only going by that, he's not really predicting his future. He just have a version of what could his future be. And then Madam Web just come along and obviously changes what that ends up being.
Yeah, because his visions don't account for her because since she has the powers, I guess it maybe like she's blocked from his visions. I don't know how that works.
He's also cursed. Yeah, because he's also cursed by las arañas in the Peruvian.
And no one else could see him.
That was also strange. Like I don't mind the fact that because like in the comics he's supposed to not have shoes. So, like that's like his thing. But like, and I don't care. I was like, whatever. He's barefoot. Like that gives him like this weird like creepy edge. But then it's like no one is like, who is this guy? He's just walking around, and.
Well, isn't this like in New York?
Yeah.
Or,
so everyone, I guess,
like, he's just
that's another weirdo in New York.
Yeah, in New York, that's like normal. A guy with no shoes. There's a guy like dressed as a rat normally in New York. Like like a guy with no shoes is probably pretty normal.
Especially if he's wearing a suit, it's like okay, you're more normal. You're wearing a suit with no shoes.
And that one guy in the subway's like, New York is getting crazier. It's like, well, I guess it is because some guy's walking around with barefoot, and then he goes into his sick Corvette. That guy had a baller car though. Let's just say that. Like he had a baller car and then got out in his cool spider suit to try to kill these girls.
He became rich after he got powers or something.
I mean, there's other superheroes that dress very out there, and we're not criticizing it. So
Yeah,
it's the
but,
same
like,
thing.
I mean, he
No,
had
I
like a
didn't care about
typical
his- yeah, I didn't care about
Spider-Man
his costume.
suit.
No, but,
He looked like
but
Spider-Man.
they go and they go, oh wow, that's that person. That's something unique and strange. This guy's just like, okay, he's just walking around looking weird, and then like, but then like when he has his actual like evil bad guy, like evil Spider-Man suit, no one sees him. Like he's invisible.
Like he
apparently.
disappears.
Like,
Yeah.
he actually disappears.
Like a spider, you don't see it until
No,
it
but like
attacks
the
you.
first time when the girls are like, why'd you like take us off the train? And then she looks at the ceiling. She's like, that's why. And like she points to them, and they all see him.
The four
What
of
is
them.
that weird ass thing coming toward us? But like,
No one else.
they even say it in the movie. The girls go, does nobody not see this? Like, and then they
and
don't.
the cops
and
don't,
then
and all the cops get got.
and then yeah, once he came closer to them, then he does some like crazy Spider-Man
But then they
stuff,
blame
like, kills all the cops.
They blame her for it.
Right.
Well, because one of the girls said we're getting kidnapped.
Right,
So
yeah.
maybe there's
That made sense
enough,
to me, though.
No, yeah,
there's enough distraction.
that was fine.
Yeah, that made
she
sense
was
to
a
me,
threat
where, like-
at that point.
Yeah, when we talk about these girls, it's basically like, the whole plot of this movie is that I can't. It's hard
Three
to say
high
this
school
without
girls.
like laughing because of the whole like trailer where like my
the-
mom was studying Amazon spiders in the Amazon before she died. Like that whole line. But basically, it's about this girl named
He was
Cassie
with
Webb.
her.
He no. Anyway,
Spoilers, by the way.
basically it's this main character who starts realizing that due to an accident or something going on that she's has special is able to kind of like foresee different paths of things happening, and she gets intertwined with these three girls that somehow in the future find a way to defeat and kill this bad guy named Ezekiel Sims. Did they ever actually say his name
Yeah.
in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just like his name is Ezekiel Sims, and he's chasing after these three girls who will someday, as we alluded to, will end up killing him. So they go through this whole journey, and it's basically all very like a lot of Spider-Man things, but they go extremely out of their way to mention Spider-Man. But hey, Ben Parker's there. Peter's mom is pregnant with not Peter because they never named him, and
Peter's dad is
an absentee. Like he's just, I don't know where he's at. Did he say a business trip or something? We
They
don't
said
know.
something,
Yeah,
but I don't
something.
remember.
He's
Yeah.
away somewhere.
He wasn't in the
another
Amazon
country.
studying spiders.
No.
That's what he wasn't doing.
Richard Parker. The
The tiger,
tiger.
Richard Parker. I'm sorry.
I never
that's always
connected
funny
that
to
until
me.
like we watched
No,
this movie.
I've just once Richard Parker, I'm like, dude, that's the tiger from Life of Pi.
Anyway,
Yeah, dude.
that's a good movie.
This movie's kind of all over the place. Like it's just I like each like all like the main actors. Like I like them. They're good and everything. Like Dakota Johnson's been fine in a lot of stuff she's been in.
Adam Scott.
Adam Scott's incredible. Sydney Sweeney's been killing it on like Euphoria, and then she's like having her own like
Anyone
movie
But
searches
You.
here.
She's been in Handmaid's Tale. She's been a good.
That's
stuff.
true. I forgot all that. My sister. Handmaid's Tale is really good, by the way. But then you have Isabella Merced that's been in a couple of things, like Anthony likes mentioning
Dora.
the Dora movie, but she was in a couple other stuff. She was in was that movie Instant Family with Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
That's actually like pretty charming, and every
Sicario
let's see.
2.
Yeah, Sicario 2. Damn, that movie's really good too. Going down the line. Then at the same
Emma
time,
Roberts is in it.
yeah, Celeste O'Connor, who plays Maddie Franklin, like I liked her character because she's like I'm gonna have a whole bunch of attitude because my parents are just too rich to even be bothered with me. Like the way like each of the characters, each of those girls had their own backgrounds. Like that was believable. You can tell like a lot of the writing was there, like on them, which made them over time be like real characters because you had the most time with them.
I think it had all the ingredients to be a good movie.
Yeah.
It just didn't
They just
combine.
could've been.
They
it
just
didn't
burnt it in the
combine
kitchen.
together.
Exactly.
They burnt the food in the kitchen
Yeah.
really badly.
yeah, like
and then they had to soak it with Pepsi.
Like the
I
three
agree,
of them
yeah.
together, I feel like vibe good.
Yeah.
Like,
And then
the
having-
chemistry was there. Yeah.
And then like
When they're in
having
the cab.
Dakota being like the mom
Yeah,
of the
she's
group.
the mom of the group, basically.
You know, obviously she's not like being close
Motherly
to the
like.
three. Yeah.
Oh, remember she hates
She
family.
was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna drop you off to your parents, and they're like, oh, and then all of them have like a some
issues
story with their
parents.
parents.
Yeah, my parents are here, and so as a result, so through something, like for example, like Anya's character made sense. Like, oh, my dad got deported recently, can't go to the cops, and I'm just like, damn, like I get that. Same thing with Julia Cornwall, which is actually Julia Carpenter, whatever. The whole idea of like her mom is going through issues, and so like the dad remarried, and they don't kind of really want her around, so it's like. That's kind of like hurting her confidence or where she is. Like, yeah, like I was on the train to just straight up run away. And Maddie is basically ultimate rebel teen. Like she's sharp, she's witty, but at the same time she's very like anti-authority because she can. Like, she doesn't care. Like everyone, no one's there to tell her no, so she has her own. She's almost a dudette with attitude.
Even this girl from the show Girls. I forgot how to pronounce her name. Zosha something.
Shoshana.
She was Shoshana in Girls.
Yes.
She's in this movie. Like,
so
like I know I've seen her in things and I know she's a good actress, but it's like all the people that we know that can act well in this movie, like they just have bad material to go off of.
And the guy who is like the leader of Las Arañas, he's from Narcos Mexico. He's a Jose Maria Yaspic. Dude, that guy's awesome in Narcos Mexico. Like he's like legitimately, he has great work to like material to work with. And at the same time, just like, hey, just like be Peruvian exposition guy. Thanks.
But
like,
do you think, like I think about like, great cast, people who have like diverse background, a story that could have been a great, great story. Like, does it come down to like a director that wasn't able to pull it together?
It's a whole bunch of things. So
like the writing.
It's the writing. So it's like the director has to go with what's in the script, but then the director also has to pick the shot that she did with the actors saying those bad lines. So it's like, it's a bad script plus bad acting because the director decided not to say, okay, let's do another one. And they probably couldn't say that because they probably had a limited budget or limited time. So it's like, I guess that's what we got. I did this a couple of times and that's it. And then it's just like a mishmash of probably a bunch of bad decisions, like bad writing, semi-bad directing, good actors saying bad lines, and then it's probably like the studio also saying, oh no, we want to change that. Do something else. And then the director's probably like, crap, let's do this again. Okay, that's it. Let's go. So it's probably like all that stuff together. And it's like, this is what you get. And it just sucks. It sucks for everybody.
I think it sucks, especially...
It does.
I mean, I feel like I'm here every podcast to defend womanhood, but I feel like for, where all the main characters are women, it's like, wow, man, like, this could have been a hit, and it had everything to be a hit, and ends up not being that, because it just doesn't,
Yeah, like, you want it, like, you don't want to go in there and just be like, this movie's gonna suck, I'm just gonna hate watching it. Like, no, like, you want to, like, find redeeming stuff in it, like we talked about, like, there are small bits of good things in there, like the chemistry between the main characters.
But obviously, when you go watch a movie, you don't want it to suck. You want to have a good time. You want to enjoy it. Like, you want to be like, wow, that was a good movie.
But when technically, like, there's a lot of technical things that are really bad about it, you're just like, what? Like we talk about it, like the whole like recording of the villain. You're just like, dude, what's going on here? And like,
it's like the recording, and it's like weird edits and cuts. It's like they show something, it's like a quick cut here, and it's like back to this, and they're like, half the time you're like, oh wait, like you kind of have to like, oh okay, now they're doing this. Okay.
I also
like, like normally you probably like as a regular moviegoer probably don't even think about that stuff because it's probably done well or normally. But when it's not done well, then it's like very obvious.
You're like two in your face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like when they have like some of the parts in this movie, it's on purpose because they're trying to do like a whole like, oh, flashes, because it's like this is how probably she's seeing things in her mind, like when she's doing like the rewind of like, okay, let's see it again. So okay, for those scenes it kind of makes sense, but they do that in other scenes when it's not like her flashing. It's just like quick cuts, and it's weird. So it's like when it happens constantly throughout the movie. So like to me at least, it sticks out, and so then I have to like I notice it, and then because I'm noticing, I'm like instead of focusing on the movie, I'm focusing on like these weird things that are happening because the camera's shaking too much or too many edits, and it like I don't want to have to think about it, but I feel like the movie made me think about it because it wasn't done well.
Like another scene like I actually kind of genuinely liked was Cassie in the sort of like baby shower
Yeah.
Like that whole scene where she's just like being awkward, like that I think was a great way to showcase she's like, I'm not like really about this, like I don't like whole like yay family, all this was like, I don't know, like, you know, because of her past, like, and her being awkward about like, what do you think? Is like, oh yeah, and then like my dad, but she like the whole like yeah, my mom died at childbirth, and oh oops, and then like you go on the snowball, just like, oh, this is all super awkward. Like that.
I love an awkward character. Like I have to say, like
sense.
I love
Like, that was cool.
That part was funny because then she's like, "Oh, don't worry, it wasn't that big of a deal." And it was like, "You're talking about your mom dying," and then like, and it's also at a baby shower. So like, don't worry, like the probability of that happening is like very low.
Really low, but you know,
But it happened.
She's like, but it happened. But and then she just started going on like a roller coaster. She was like, well, she was in Amazon and shouldn't have been there while she was pregnant, blah, blah. So like that scene was like, it was intentionally funny, and it was funny. Like it was very well done, but then it's like it was quick. And then it goes on to like the next scene. That's like, okay. And that's the scene
And,
like right before she dies in that
so
car
yeah,
accident.
like that scene was cool, and then it was like, oh, she's doing the loop because like she kind of like is doing the weird replay thing after the accident where she fell in the water, and like, oh, she has her like web probability powers, whatever, and like again like the sound mixing is weird, so like the balloon pop is like almost like super jump scary. So just like, was that supposed to be like a scary moment?
like
I mean,
hate or something.
The thing is,
Yeah.
they had that in a lot of parts of the movie. So it's like, part of it I liked it because I felt like they were trying to go for like a Final Destination thing, like showing the future segments and then like, okay, reverting back. I was fine with all that, but then it was just weird. It seemed like any random loud noise was like, oh, that's what triggered her rewind or whatever you want to call it. So I don't know. It was cool, but then they stopped doing it because I guess throughout the movie, then she just gets used to it, and then like,
and she just kind of just does it and like calls it out instead of like, it would be cool to like show the stylistic of like how she's seeing it instead of just like, just do everything I'm telling you. And like, oh wow, I guess she just predicted it because now she just knows, instead of like a way to stylistically show it, like the same way like when she went to Peru and had her whole like reconcile with the reason why her mother was there. And just like you can, if seeing a little more of that. But I think again, like, because the movie was that, oh, we want to like make it this certain way now, they had to edit and change a lot of that stuff.
Could it be, and obviously I'm excusing here the behavior of the movie, but could it be like before it was a trauma response because she couldn't control it, it will only happen in certain moments?
probably.
And then once she solved this whole trauma by knowing, you know, how this power and how her mom ended up where she ended up, then it was not more like no longer a trauma response. It was something like she was
100%.
okay with.
Okay.
But did you needed that to be explained in order for you to perceive that version of it?
No. But that's the thing. We understand that, like, because it's go through there now. She realizes, okay, like she had the ambulance, and she's like, oh, cool. Like he's gonna jump on the ambulance. Like when he jumps, like, you know, like she's telling you now when to hit him with the defibrillator, and he shot.
Like that was so cool.
Like that was cool, but it's just like. It's just more just like, hey, this is gonna happen now, and I'm just gonna call it out instead of kind of like, I don't want to say like it's earned, but like there's like the Final Destination movies where like you would see like, oh no, that's gonna happen, and then we have to like switch it up, like
do something else.
like see like her seeing the ways on like, okay, no, this is the best way to do it. Moving
kind of
forward.
like we're in the train, like, you know, the scene in the train where like
They
see,
showed each individual girl,
yeah, like
dying.
being attacked,
Yeah.
and like and then like it's her.
That
then
scene, I
being-
felt like that was the kind of like best way to show, like she saw the different angles, and then finally she was like, all right, I gotta get these people off the train because I saw all of it happen.
So it's like, I don't know
So,
if
yeah.
maybe it's budget concerns that they couldn't continue showing it, but maybe in a streamlined style where now she's in control, or like she can see like the thread, like, oh, this is the best way to look at it, or the best way to attack it. Because it sort of then kind of happened, especially when the guy was like, you can be in more places than once with the web, and which happened at the end, but like,
Yes.
not that I want a CGI fest, because a lot of these superhero movies just do that at the very end, but it just felt very like, hey, we want to do this, but I don't know we're gonna do this, so we're just gonna like tell it to you, and like it's more, it's like a weird mix of show and tell, where they end up just telling you more, and then it's like, oh, I just gotta take it as is and accept it.
You see, I think it should have been a TV show where, you know, they could go in depth in things and more detail into other things. Like, we spend so much time, or at least I felt like we spent so much time in the movie, like knowing how the mom was in the Amazon and what happened there, like, and then the rest of the movie almost have to be rushed or
we spent,
cut.
It was
like,
like
3 minutes.
3 or 5 minutes of the movie. That's the
In the
beginning of the movie,
Amazon.
and that's it.
And the guy showed up with an umbrella, and then off screen, like, he's holding the umbrella, and then he says like, yeah, you hired me to have security, and his lips aren't moving. That was very distracting.
I never noticed that.
Is this for not moving?
I did not.
There,
notice
that, but that happens
That's in the
throughout
beginning
the movie.
of the movie, and every
Throughout the
time he
movie.
speaks, that guy
But
does
the-
the same thing. He's like, "I'm paying you, or I will end you." And you're like, "You're not moving your lips right now. Like, I don't understand what's happening."
Maybe that's why he needed the spider power. Maybe he's like
He needed to speak properly.
ventriloquize, and the whole the weird I'm
Okay.
gonna go into the opera.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to ask you about this scene. So he goes into the opera, and I guess he's flirting with this woman, if you can call it flirting. Would you consider this flirting? Picking up the program and then staring at her, giving it to her, and then pretending to pull it away, and then she smiles at him because he did that. And he's like, and then the next scene, she goes to his apartment.
Do you think it's one of those
You have a
cliche?
great
But
apartment.
isn't it a cliche thing? You have a rich dude that quote unquote handsome. She obviously found it attractive enough to leave with him.
Barefoot?
Was he barefoot there too?
No, I'm kidding.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I doubt it because they probably wouldn't have let him in barefoot
Into the-
to those type of places.
Rich people can get away with a lot of things. So
And his whole I know he's telling him his whole life story because he's gonna end up
Because
having
he
to
came
kill
from
her.
nothing.
Yeah, but he did it, but he's gonna kill her. But at the same time, it's have some more finesse to it, my dude. That was really it was just the point of just how is she not already have whipped out the gun or try to stop that guy that was
She wanted it.
the moment this man started talking,
I
and
know.
it's not oh, I dream about this woman killing me.
exactly.
And then he tells her,
cool.
so I need to kill them first.
Yeah.
At that moment, she should have been but she's like, tell me more. She was
Well,
interested
she's
in
also where did she work?
The NSA.
NSA. Maybe she's curious, and that's how she ended up working
She's
at
not
NSA.
a spy. She's not in the CIA
Maybe she's
or
an
something.
spy, or she's maybe somebody that couldn't become a spy. And she's like, this is spying as high as gonna get. Tell me more, bro.
Yeah, 2003. That's the beginning of surveillance, and he just did all that. He's now I have the ultimate technology, which is the best facial recognition from 2014 in the year 2003, which was again interesting that the movie was in 2003. But they had a lot of accurate things from 2003. I think the Pepsi logo, the Corvette he drove, Britney Spears is toxic, and a lot of the other songs there too made sense. But yeah, it's just then, but the whole idea just it's you said, it probably could have been better the TV show because then they wouldn't have to spend so much time dodging the Spider-Man stuff.
I think if they just would have had a good script and not do so many changes, because it's been said that they
answered all
did
our
do
problems.
changes.
I'm sure they did.
No,
I'm sure
there's
they did.
definitely tell they somebody went and changed the recipe mid cooking. That they're hey, we're gonna make this nice stir fried chicken. Psych, it's now gonna be
A pizza.
A pizza, yeah.
So figure it out.
Figure it out. now.
So you know that the girl in the movie that's pregnant, she's pregnant with Peter Parker, right?
Yes.
You understood that, right?
Yeah.
They just never said it for some
Correct.
reason.
They were,
So
trying
Adam-
to play around with
But is it because it's not a Marvel movie? Because
no,
it's not, there's
Sony
no.
owns
So Sony-
Spider-Man.
So they're allowed to say it.
They are. Sony
Yeah.
owns the
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man character for the movies,
it was more like
and I think the cartoons too.
this.
It was you guys see what we're doing? It was one of those things, but it's but they just decided never to mention anything about specifically
So
Spider-Man.
I have a question.
yeah.
If Peter Parker was born in 2003
Three,
now,
uh-huh.
that's
So he
that's,
would be 20, in
Now.
current
Now.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, but my question is, if Madame Web has been in that timeline and she's present and close to these people,
Mm-hmm.
why shouldn't they say? Because isn't the uncle the one that dies at the end?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
So-
a great question.
So why couldn't she stop that or change that? Obviously,
Well,
the
exactly.
Because when
storyline.
you have the responsibility, great power will come.
Well, maybe in this universe,
So
he doesn't die.
Well, remember, because this isn't gonna happen for another 14, 15 years.
Yeah.
But Madame Web is alive. It's not like she
Yeah,
died.
But she's new to her powers.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how far into the future.
by the end of the movie, she's full on Madame
She's
Web.
full
She
Madame
has-
Web.
Yeah, she
She
would-
has
but
her
She
back.
does the smirk.
Yeah, but-
he has no idea.
But she can probably see maybe a couple years or so, but not 15
She
years.
did
Yeah.
see 15 years in the future. Because when they go in the hospital at the end of the movie and say, "Oh yeah, the baby looks great," and he's so glad that he's an
she
uncle.
knows
What's
the
the line?
future of-
What's the line? Oh, he's so glad he's an uncle that he
He gets to have all the fun.
He has
Yeah.
all the fun, but not the responsibility. And she goes, "He has no idea." So like she already knows that he's gonna be
Yeah, I
Uncle
totally
Ben,
missed
the
that part,
important person to Peter Parker, so that Peter Parker becomes Spider-Man.
We just don't know which Peter Parker. If it's any of
I mean,
the
in
three
all
that
the
we
Peter
see.
Parkers,
if
in
I had
all the
to
Peter
guess-
Parkers, the uncle dies.
Exactly.
It would be either
Exactly.
Andrew
So
or
she's
According-
just like, my
if
best
you-
friend's gonna end up having to
If you
die.
watch Spider-Verse, they make that a
But she,
canon
again,
event.
she I guess knows that, like, yeah, I guess he has to die for that dude to show up. But also, I have 3 other my spider children, my spider daughters that are gonna run around and do stuff later on. Which
how did they get powers?
we'll never know. Whatever. I don't think that's important. I just know that they
If-
will get him eventually.
If they
they're-
make a second movie.
What do you mean? They're all probably gonna go a trip to the
the
place.
Amazon.
In the
Yeah,
forest.
they're all probably
They're gonna get
go
La
there.
Saranya and get the.
Because at the end of the
bit.
day, she's gonna become their mom. You know.
And they know,
Basically.
and,
And that's
she
all-
knows
and
where
that's
the
all she knows.
She knows where the tree is,
With the
where they live.
she did her intensive 3-hour research and deductive reasoning gave her a Polaroid to go, oh, that's where my mom was. And
I know exactly where that is.
Yeah.
You know, you say that that's crazy, but there's a guy online that literally goes sees the grass and says like, "This is the grass from
He's
here."
one
Like,
guy. That's the one like Google Maps guy. But like that's all he's doing. But she's a paramedic by day, and like all she does is paramedic driving.
I don't know, man. Like I'm just saying, like it's not so crazy.
But what
I mean,
is
maybe
crazy
there's
is
more in the
fireworks that
book.
blow up walls.
Maybe there's more in the book that
That's
we
what
didn't see.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like I feel like there's so many details that probably could have been there, and because of time they weren't.
So we were talking about like possible changes that were made. I remember I heard rumors maybe like 2 or 3 years ago when they were first talking about making this movie. There were rumors that the bad guy of this movie was, I think he still has like visions, and I think he sees something in the future, and that his mission in the movie was that he was gonna kill the woman pregnant to kill her to prevent Peter Parker to become
being
Spider-Man, because apparently Spider-Man has something to do with him, I think, dying. And so that's why they were supposed to be like a larger connection with Spider-Man in this movie. But then something happened. I guess they changed all of that, and then they made this other story.
Let's do less of that.
And
because
so the
it'll be
story now
fun.
became
wink, wink.
random girls are gonna kill me in the future, and I have to kill them first. Maybe they thought, oh, we won't
Because you don't go back in time and kill
It's
a baby.
very possible. Yeah, it's very possible that the studio's like, yeah, we can't really show this guy going after a pregnant woman to
It's
kill her. or
dark.
something. Yeah, maybe they thought that was
But they
bad.
did show that in the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
They still kind of
They blew up in a car, right?
They almost.
And he shot her.
No. Another pregnant.
Oh, at the
woman.
beginning of the movie, yeah.
Yeah, he did shoot.
So I
her.
didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So if that was an issue of theirs, then why would they
still
keep
there?
why would they keep
Yeah,
that
they-
scene at the
they
beginning of the
did.
movie? So
And also that whole scene, like again, like they're like positive, but like there's just some things that's like to set up the conflict. I was like, man, this is just like talk about like really poorly rushed and like no time. Like again, 2.5 minutes to realize like cool, this is the thing. These are the magic. The magic spider thing I was looking for, and the guy's like, no, but I need it now, and I'm just gonna murder everybody like out of nowhere. Like I came, like he just like completely just like surprised. I'm like,
Well, because she was supposed to find them while they were alone, and he'd get rid of her, and then he just leaves.
how do we know
But then-
that?
That
We're
was the plan.
assuming this is like that
There's
was
a lot of
he kept-
assuming going on in this
Yeah,
movie.
I mean, we're supposed to put the pieces together. You know, it just went from a superhero movie
What a
to a
puzzle.
mystery
A
documentary.
mystery,
okay,
a mystery.
but it's like I think that's what was supposed to happen. But then
Mystery
she ended up
Amazon.
finding it on her own on her way back, I guess. And then he was like, "What is it was supposed to do?" I mean, he could have waited until nighttime and then take it. I think there's many ways that he could have done it better.
But he's been researching it for what was the line like? He just he had to do it now
I've been
because
researching this longer than you have. And then he said some lines like, I need this. I came from nothing. You had more of a privilege than I do. I need this. Like he said, like 4 things in succession.
four different motivations
Yeah,
that
it
are
was like-
contrary to each other.
Yeah, and it was
what?
like, this is this character, and he just like explained to you why he's doing this, and you're like, okay.
I'm bad
And
because
it's
it's
in the
basically
first.
I'm bad because I'm
Wait,
It's in the
but-
first 3 minutes of the movie.
I mean, I don't know if I missed it.
You probably got there late.
Because no. I was there with when the trailers were playing. What was his original motive for wanting the spiders? Like that's the part that I guess
He was looking for it.
He was looking for it, and he knew more about it, and he deserved it more than she did.
But what he wanted the spider because of its powers.
yes,
Yes.
He just wanted powers.
He
Because
did
he
his
knew about the
research and
powers.
knew that the spider had powers. So he's like, I want the spider with powers. That's it. He wants the powers.
I'm
Why
mad
he
at-
wants the powers?
I'm actually really mad.
anybody would want powers,
You had
but-
people from Las Arañas. It wasn't just one person.
Yeah.
Like several of them showed up. Not one of them thought, "Let me go after that guy who just shot this pregnant lady."
That too.
I'm just gonna, but
They all needed to
I like
save her.
I like that. Yeah, let's protect her. Let's try to save her life. But like one of them gonna be like, "Let me go murder that guy," because he's taking
Yeah, but they
away
all
something.
have power.
But in the end, they're like, "No, we'll just curse him."
Yeah, they all have power. They were like, this is gonna solve us his own. They were like karma. Wait a little bit, a couple years.
Just wait till she grows up.
No, a
In
couple
30 years.
decades. So it's
Yeah.
30 years. No, maybe even 40
Like-
years because those girls were still in their
Yeah,
like.
but
It's all still the first 5 minutes. They dunk her in the milk tank or whatever.
Yes.
in the cave, the tree cave, and then like the spider bites her.
Mm-hmm.
The baby comes out, and then they're like,
Oh no, she died. Sorry.
she dies, and then they're like, she'll return, and then when she does, we'll tell her everything. It's like, what? I don't understand. I didn't.
And then I guess they like
And so she did return.
called social services in Peru or something, and also grabbed all of the mom's research like in that area and just packed it back with her, because that's how she had it. And going through foster care.
I mean, what's the name of the main araña person?
They didn't have a name.
he didn't have.
They
A
were,
name.
they were all Las Arañas.
Okay, well,
No, I think he actually had a name.
Did he? Let's
he
look
had
it
a
up.
name,
Let's look
yeah.
it up.
And he was dressed.
Santiago.
Thank you very
Nice,
much.
nice.
And Santiago was dressed normal. I'm pretty sure he did. He
Yeah,
went
he
to
was
the proper
dressed normal.
Yeah,
channel.
30 years later, he was just
Well,
normal.
No, so she has a point.
Yeah.
He went-
Yeah,
yeah.
he wasn't just like El Hombre Araña in
Peru,
In
yeah.
Peru, yeah.
Yeah.
Like this person, that was his
That's-
hobby.
that's a fair
That's what
point.
he does, his spare time.
He's
You
the
know,
protector.
he
of
probably-
Las
He's the
Arañas.
transporter of random.
But he probably,
Random orchids.
I'm pretty sure he went through the proper channel and took this kid to America.
Proper
the
channels.
Spanish channel.
Because I have a feeling they all had different powers, and one of them saw the future and said like everything is gonna come out how it's supposed to come out, And they're not there, and like nobody have seen
They
these
did-
people. They were a myth.
They actually do have that power, which is why she has that power.
Correct. That's
Because
what I'm saying.
like he explained to her, like, yeah, this guy that took that spider, he got like the strength and whatever and
Mm-hmm.
the venom power. He's like, but you have like the power of like seeing the future.
Yes.
And so I think all of those Las Arañas people, I think they all have some form of all those
Yeah, they all
powers.
have a different power.
Yeah.
They saw the future. And to everybody else, like, these people are a myth. Like, nobody has ever seen those people. Now, out of nowhere, they're going to be for this, like, little girl. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to, like, kill our, our vibe here. Like, no. And one of them are probably already saw the
Ship her out.
future.
She's gonna. They're all gonna catch her, ship her away.
Yes, exactly. Like, they don't have... They probably have regular jobs,
That would have been hilarious if they showed that.
Speaking of hilarious, what was really hilarious is like all the overt, like, look, this thing looks like a web, like shots. There was
The
one
glass.
That's what I like.
Anthony found a
I
lot
saw
of
this
those.
movie twice, so the first time I didn't really notice it, but
By the
Well, I
way,
say-
thank you for watching it with me the other day, because, man, like, if I had watched this by myself, I think it would have been a lot of, like me trying to go, what?
Like,
but
he-
then, like, now someone's next
he
to me
would-
go, wait, what?
he would
Like,
just hear me randomly chuckle like throughout the movie, and he's like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "I'll tell you later," because it was like the second time watching, since I'm like I don't need to really pay attention. Like they make it like very apparent that there's a lot of times where they either go through the camera's like doing some sweeping motion and the character's walking somewhere, either if they're in a car or I think the train or somewhere where there's glass and there's cracked glass, that they have to like focus on the cracked glass because it looks like a web. And so there's multiple times throughout the movie where there's cracked glass. If it's on, there was cracked glass on the bus when she was using the bus in the Amazon. There was cracked glass in a lot of the cars that she was in when
I
she
noticed
had the vision.
none of that.
When
Me
she had
neither.
exactly because you don't notice that the first time, but I'm almost certain it's on purpose. I'm sure they're like it would be cool if we showed all these web-like
when
things.
she was in the when I think Mary Parker was in the hospital, like yeah, okay, whatever, she's getting ready, and then it's like they just kind of zoom out weirdly, and there's this like weird cage thing that's supposed to be a web, and I was like, I don't understand.
Like when she had the flash of the pigeon dying, like running into her window, and
made
so it's
a web.
like the thing is cracked and it looks like a web, and yeah, just so
Oh, I liked it.
Does the web shows up whenever there's like an alternative option of the reality?
no,
No, not
No,
always.
okay.
You see,
No.
so it's not a consistent thing.
right?
It's
So
just
like so
like
like
it's random.
because
It's just like a decoration.
because I
thing.
was like noticing that earlier on, then I noticed it more times throughout the movie, and so it like it just became funny to me. That was like, okay, now like it's clear they're doing this on purpose, and
It's the little,
it pops
Disney,
up in
the
more
little,
places.
Mickey Mouse.
I don't know
Disney.
why this reminded me when you're doing a project and you're like, oh, it looks so empty. Put more stuff on it.
exactly.
Exactly.
It's like this scene is good, but it would be better if I had a cracked glass over there. She would
In a
make it
spider web
because it's a
shape.
Webb, and her last name is Webb, and she becomes Madam Webb, and the fun. And what makes it even funnier is that in the movie, nobody uses Webb except for in the future flash forward sequence when the girls are transformed. Sydney Sweeney uses like an electric
It's
web.
like a psionic web.
But it's so
comic book
fast.
stuff.
They show it for like 20 seconds. But like nobody else uses webs like Spider-Man. It's like the bad guy doesn't swing. I don't know if you noticed. He just
jumps.
jumps around everywhere and
Like
he
a normal
crawls,
spider.
but he doesn't swing.
But we say based from the comic, like he's supposed to be sticky, pretty much. That's why
He's
he has
only
no
sticky.
shoes.
Yeah,
he's only
just sticky.
sticky. He
No.
doesn't wear a black, evil Spider-Man
Yeah.
outfit. Like he's just
No,
some
no,
guy.
that's fine
No,
if it's not there. I just found it funny that like how much out of their way they went in this movie to like not say the word Spider-Man or Peter Parker or show
almost like if
anything
they
of
didn't
Spider-Man.
own
Like,
it,
yeah,
but they do.
They
That's
do own
that's
it.
what I say. That's what I asked. Like maybe that's what it is. Like a
No,
right
they
thing.
do own
You know,
it.
they
Have
don't.
it,
They're
yeah.
not allowed to
They're-
say it.
I don't know if it's because they're just trying not to rely so much on the Spider-Man
But
name.
that's why you do the movie.
yeah.
Because
But
these
then
characters
Spider-Man
aren't
isn't
that
in it.
popular. So like
Do you
to
think
get
it's-
people to watch
Do you think
this
it's like
movie,
a timeline thing? Like maybe this movie is
Well,
not part of
again-
any timeline
again
yet.
with rumors that I heard, it was supposed to be connected with one of the Spider-Men. People were unclear if it was gonna be
Andrew
Garfield or Toby or Tom Holland.
Well, it
but
could be
supposedly,
because 2000
To me-
right? And so
Well,
supposedly,
to me, it lines up better with Tom Holland because No Way Home came out 3 years ago almost. Like, it was like just over 2 years ago, and that would have put Peter would have been 18 right back then, right? This movie takes place about 20 years ago. So in that almost 3 years, Tom Holland's Peter Parker would be 20 years old.
So
I mean,
they
they also
were-
never mentioned Aunt May because he's like, oh, I'm dating this girl, I really like her, and they're like, no
We
name.
don't know who.
and
Yeah.
she's just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's
Yeah,
serious.
who is she?
That's what I'm saying.
You never said
Like,
anything. Oh, but she's
Yeah,
a
it's like,
secret.
what was
That's
the
all it
reasoning
was.
for like being coy about
do you
like?
think maybe they knew
the
from the
secret?
beginning like this movie's going nowhere? So like
They're just
there's
trying to like,
So-
like nudge
like,
their
there's no
elbow,
point of
like,
adding
oh.
in a timeline.
They might have because
I
like
think
a
so.
month before the movie came out, there were articles or reports that originally this movie was gonna follow one of the Spider-Man timelines, and then apparently someone realized that the time frame that they set the movie in didn't really line up with any of the timelines of the other Peter Parker Spider-Man.
I would say
So-
it lines up better with.
but because they realized, oh wait, it doesn't really match with any of them, then they had to like change a bunch of stuff and they just say, oh yeah, it's 2003, and I guess it isn't connected to anything.
Because they wanted toxic.
No, and then when they were doing like the circuit, you know how like the actors go on to talk shows and all that. Before 2 or 3 years ago, when they were talking about this movie, they were saying like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be connected with one of the Spider-Man." Once like the movie was about to come out, for sure. What's her face? Dakota Johnson. She specifically in a lot of the interviews, she was like, "Oh no, this isn't connected to anything." Like, oh, now it's not connected to anything.
Maybe
Very
she's a
weird.
real Madam Web. She really did see the
No,
future.
I'm pretty
I was
sure.
like,
I'm
nope.
pretty sure. Like whatever PR department was like, hey, make sure you tell everyone that this is no longer connected. It probably used to be, and I think it was like you could see it in the movie. It's probably like last minute changes. Like, all right, let's change this. Let's change these lines here and there, and let's refilm this. And then
Like that would
now
make
it's
sense.
not.
Like if it's
No.
if it's trying not to be connected to any timeline, to not confuse the fans, or like to add to anything. Maybe there's just one of those projects that they end up discarding in the long run.
Or I guess
Well,
if they knew
that
it
is
was
gonna
going to be really bad and tarnish the other three, like even worse.
I'm pretty sure that's
Like, they
it was
just didn't
something
wanna do
along
anything with it.
along
yeah,
those
because
lines.
although Tom Holland's movie did pretty good, no?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
all did well.
They made
No Way
bank.
Home made a bunch of money, 2 million,
made
2
a
billion.
lot of
The one that didn't do good was Andrews, but
Those were
But
still
they were-
They were still
Yeah.
successful. though.
Yeah, and that was again also because a lot of studios, we want to do all this stuff. We want to do these other like Spider-Man style movies, other villains, and they try to shoehorn a lot of things.
And the
in.
Tom Holland's movie were also Sony that did
No.
it. No,
So
Sony partnered with-
produced them,
Marvel,
yeah.
but
but
not for this.
Marvel wrote them.
But
not-
Sony had the final say in terms of like
Yeah, but if they presented a
Like,
good
what
project,
is
they were
in the
gonna say like,
movie?
yeah,
They
you know?
made a partnership. It was like they split the money somehow. Sony gets most of the money, and Disney gets some of it. Disney Marvel.
But that didn't happen with Madame Web, right?
No,
This is
because
the same
it's
case.
so the Venom movies with Tom Hardy,
Oh, that was a great movie.
Madam Web, Morbius that just came out, and then
Not Craven.
Craven is gonna come out in a couple months,
mhm.
and then Venom 3 is gonna come out at the end of the year. All of those movies are Sony's
Little Spider-Man.
movies that are Spider-Man characters, but
And-
not Spider-Man. For some
I
reason,
see.
Yes.
So they're kind
you
of
should
like
care about
renting
these
out.
characters. You're
They're kind of like
But
renting out
takes place in a separate multiverse than the MCU.
the Tom Holland.
The Tom Hollands.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're
All
confused.
this
Like,
nerd
and so
stuff.
are
Yeah,
other
you're
people.
I think
confused and
it's best
everybody's
watching the
confused.
movies as standalone. Like, you know, like this
Yeah,
is just a
these
Well,
should
that's
be
what
a
they,
standalone.
by the end of the day, they were just like, you know what? This movie's not that good, so let's just say it's its own thing, and that's what they ended up saying.
And I mean,
in the interviews, that's what they
Venom
said.
and Morbius have been their own thing too.
No, but Morbius tried to connect stuff, and
Yeah.
that hurt my brain. At least Madame Web didn't try that whole thing.
I mean, almost seemed like they couldn't, you know, like it was almost to the other extreme where it's like, this
You're
is
not going to.
completely
Yeah,
related
you
to
better
it,
not.
but we can't legally apparently say this thing when it's not the case.
Yeah, it's just, and as a result, you get like this weird movie with weird and interesting, strange choices. What I will say is that Madame Web's other power, now she doesn't have it because she's crippled and blind, is that she was like the pro best driver in all of New York City.
Was she? though?
Yeah, she hit like she
She
3
did run
times.
over the girl who became one of the Spider
That's
Girls.
true.
She stopped and then she got flicked off.
Wall
But
speeding.
throughout the movie,
Yeah.
she smacked into the bad guy twice.
She went up a couple floors, then blew through a billboard, and then hit the bad guy.
She
a couple
Dom
times.
Toretto'd the bad guy. Like,
Yeah, she did it not even for family.
But she
just
took
that one.
the longest driving route to get to the cafe.
When they were stuck in the forest, which made that was a fun little like thing between the three girls. But then like, no, let's go somewhere.
At
And
the
then,
beginning
like,
of that scene, I was like, dude, pay attention to this part.
Wait, which part?
That part, like when she
Oh, yeah, she's
realizes that they left and went to the diner, I was like, watch this part.
And then she's like, first she walks and like immediately there, but then it's like, oh, then she does the rewind again. She's like, oh, I gotta get in the car, and
It took forever
it
in
took
the car.
forever to get there, and then but then she like murdered the guy, like half murdered the guy with the car again. Like that guy
She
gets hit by a car like
She
4
got
times.
there late with the car, while when she walked, she got there before him.
But by
No,
getting
but she
there
had
early,
to, but she had to time it perfectly to hit him with the car.
yeah, she needed the car to hit him.
Get with the program.
That's the only way she could
But
fight him is
She
with a
knew
car.
the timing.
You have
They
to
did
rewind.
it.
You have to back up though, because you have to explain like everything that happens in this scene. The girls say, "We're done. We're tired of waiting in the forest."
The 3
But
hours.
they were hungry.
yeah. No, she was hangry. She was like, "I'm hangry.
Which
Let's go
hangry
eat."
wasn't used in
Let's go eat.
2003. I'm mad about that. Like no one said hangry in 2003.
Now we're getting.
Where-
Now we're getting.
I was getting really hit.
I
like,
chuckled
triggered.
when I told you, "Hey, pay attention to this part." So I was chuckling before they even left. Why? Because Smokey the Bear wasn't there to say,
Hey, put out that
"Put
fire.
out that fire that you guys just left
I
in the
remember
forest."
that. They left the open
They left
fire
the
in
fire there
forest.
when they're like, "Oh, let's go eat."
And then never went back?
No,
No. So that
so
forest
that
is now on
forest
fire.
would have been burnt down.
No, because she would have seen it.
No, I'm just saying,
no,
like,
when Madam-
I'm saying
when-
in reality,
when
if they
Cassie-
left that fire there,
But
then
like
the
Cassie
forest
got
would
there,
burn
the
down.
Cassie
It wasn't-
got there,
it
and
wasn't there.
the fire wasn't there, so that
Yeah,
it was
it was
okay.
windy. You know, it was a
Oh,
windy
because
day.
or Smokey the Bear came and actually put it out.
Or it died out?
Because Smokey the Bear came in and took it out.
whatever. So the girl's like, oh, there's a diner maybe like half a mile. So they walk it, you know, and like normal movie, it like cuts to like maybe like 2 or 3 scenes of them walking through the forest, and then okay, we're here. Okay, so those cuts are there to show you like, okay, it takes not that long, but semi long for them to walk over there. Okay, because she said it's only half a mile. It's fine. It's a short walk over there. Okay, so they're in it. They order a bunch of shit. They're eating, and then they start flirting with boys. Toxic starts playing from Britney Spears.
That's what
Great
you guys
song.
are referring to. I couldn't
Great
remember
song
when the
from that
song
era.
plays.
Yeah, it was-
Where they're dancing on the table.
They're toxic because
That
the
was
bad
definitely out
guy
there.
is toxic. So it's
He
like
has that power
super,
he only uses like twice.
super on the nose
entire movie.
But they start dancing, and then they show Dakota Johnson's character, or what, Cassie. So she goes back after her 3 hours, but I guess it was longer than that. I don't know.
Research.
And she's like, "Oh, where are they?" And then
It's probably like an hour drive.
I think
each
she
way.
follows footsteps. I don't know, but one scene she realizes they left to the diner, and then she walks 2 steps. The next scene she's at the diner. So the movie tells us it must not be that far away because
Walking.
They said half a
right.
mile.
I know.
Walking.
Right, but I'm saying like
She couldn't get the car through there, so she had to go the long way.
no, I don't care about that. I don't care about all that. That's fine. Like, okay, so you're saying it didn't take her very long to walk there.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes there and she's like, what are you guys doing? Let's go. And they're playing Toxic, and then the dude comes in and then like very violently kills everyone. He kills that one dude, random dude who was like on the window. I was like, dude, that was so unnecessary.
Yeah,
he
like,
kills
why?
one guy, not everyone. He kills one guy
don't
and
know
then
why.
he kills the girls.
Can we talk about how, like,
talk about the newspaper.
The fact that, like, just maybe 4 hours ago, she's accused of kidnapping these girls, but then somehow a newspaper was printed by the Daily Bugle, which is like the famous thing in Spider-Man, but like a newspaper is printed out like 3 hours later, going, "Oh no, there's a kidnapper on the loose," and the guys in the diner are like, "Oh man, that's got to be them. They're
Gotta call the cops.
Gotta call the cops now," and like that made no sense to me. Like that, how are you gonna print a newspaper out that fast?
Oh, that's
But
right.
he-
Because that was
It was
the same day.
Right.
It's the same day.
It was the same day. It was
There
hours.
It was
Wait,
4
back-
hours ago.
So back then you only get newspapers in the morning. There's
It's
no,
always
there's no
once a day.
afternoon.
No.
It's
there's
not back
afternoon
then.
newspaper.
Forever.
There's no evening.
They print it out in the morning and that's it.
And that's it.
This
There's-
isn't
Yeah.
Twitter.
No.
Twitter wasn't
I don't
invented in
know.
2003.
No, dude.
But he calls it in, and then the bad guy intercepts it
Wait,
because
it
he
was
has
in
the
the
technology.
newspaper or was in the TV?
It was the newspaper.
The guy was
It's
at
at
the
the
diner
Daily
reading the
Bugle.
newspaper.
It was so
Maybe
like jarring.
in that universe they had an afternoon newspaper.
Maybe in that
Maybe.
universe
Maybe.
that made no sense also, and they just went with it.
He calls, he's like, "Hey, the kidnapper's here,
He
or the girls are
intercepted
here."
The 911 call.
And the guy's like, and he's like, "Those aren't our girls." While he's driving in his nice car, and then he goes and intercepts them.
That really nice, but see, like 2003 accurate Corvette.
That's
Nice.
accurate.
Yeah.
That was accurate. And he's probably driving
Nice
barefoot.
car.
You know what? They chose what to edit and what not to edit. And
And
there was
They're like, "We have to get this car right."
They were
have to
like,
get
they're
this
gonna
car
notice
right.
the car, but they're not gonna notice this newspaper.
Oh, but
Leave
you
it
know,
like that.
yeah, but you know what? We were gonna notice all the shots of Pepsi. I don't know, but my house is a Coca-Cola house, so this whole movie is insulting.
Mine too.
It's insulting, but no.
But yeah, so he goes and kills all of them, all the girls, very violently. Like Sydney Sweeney's like neck breaks. I don't know what. like very violent. A lot of the scenes that she
throws her, like,
sees and like
Throws her
fast
on the
forwards.
table or something.
A lot of the
Yeah,
killing
like,
scenes are like
breaks her neck on
super
the
violent
table.
for a like PG-13 movie, but
This is a PG-13.
yeah,
movie?
those like
Wow.
quick scenes of like them dying. It's like everyone he's like choking them and like throwing them into the roof of the train or whatever.
And like
And
this
then
girl getting poisoned. to
Sydney
death,
Sweeney's like, broke your neck, and he like does a Stone Cold Stunner. I don't know what he does, but he killed all three of them, and then boom, rewinds.
And he also stabs Cassie. He's like, haha, I guess and that's when she gets
Yes,
stabbed. She's
she
like,
gets
"Oh,
stabbed,
no."
and then it rewinds, and she goes, "Oh crap, I gotta
I
do
can't do
this
that."
better now." She goes in her car. You would think that she goes in her car to go there faster than walking.
To get them out.
She puts the radio on. Toxic is playing because I guess it's
That
the
was
same
his
radio
The
favorite
station.
timing.
Yeah.
Timing.
Timing.
She could see the
Yeah, that's fine.
timing.
It's so the audience understands the timing. But then
Yes.
what they did was earlier they showed you in one cut. She goes from forest to diner, walking in one cut. So
Yes.
it makes it seem like it must not be far away. But then she goes in her car. I gotta get there fast so this guy doesn't kill them. And almost the whole entire song of Toxic plays.
How long is the song?
It doesn't matter.
Like 30
But
minutes.
she goes in her car to get there faster, and it wasn't faster because the guy got there, and she, like you said, oh well, maybe she timed it so she can hit him with the car.
But they also
Yeah.
said they saw the diner on the drive up.
Yeah, so she knew where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That whole scene was like, oh my
Well,
lord.
I mean, the cut was the vision. Like when she walks through the forest and then to the diner,
That
that's
song is-
all vision. So of course, like the
How
cut's
long is
gonna be like, oh yeah, it's like right there.
The song is
3 minutes and 30 seconds.
No, 3 minutes and 19 seconds. You're watching the music video.
Oh,
It's
okay.
3 minutes and
My
19
bad.
But the
seconds.
song didn't finish, so she took like maybe 2 minutes and a
it
half.
didn't finish because she slammed into him.
So
Yeah,
so
that's
so
what I'm saying, like,
so it's like it took her like 90 seconds to get to the diner.
The first
From
time.
walking.
First time.
But then if she drove, she got to the end of the song. So is the road really like that far out of the way? Like,
yes. It's a forest.
That
You cannot
hurt my
just
brain,
drive with
like-
the car through the forest.
And she was like going
but
in her
she
car.
got to the forest.
She got
like, from
caught
there to-
behind a big truck and was like, oh crap, I can't swerve. And then
Oh,
whatever.
the truck.
It was
yeah.
it was like
It was in her way,
Yes.
so she didn't see the
simulated
truck in her
tension.
way. But
It's the whole tension piece of it. There's
But but they needed an excuse to play it twice. They're like, we got this song, we paid for it, let's play it multiple times, and that's fine.
It's
It's
a
a
great
good ass song. Yeah.
They could have played
It's a
that
good
in the finale. It would have been better because all this like fireworks dodging.
Yeah. Oh no.
Though I will say, like her like catching all the metal pieces was kind of cool. Like I was like, okay, this is like okay, like I'm gonna
Her
hold
little
this.
Captain America.
Yeah, little like
The Captain
ding,
America
ding, ding.
shield.
Yeah, it's like look at that,
That's
you're
cool.
not dead. And then
But
Yeah,
that makes sense. Like if she's seen that they're coming, then she's blocking.
She knows
Yeah.
where
She's
it's
blocking.
coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish we would have gotten more scenes of like them in the suits and like actually doing stuff.
I'm okay without that because it's just everything just
Are you
seems
though?
odd.
But I mean, that's how they advertise the movie. Hey, you want to see these women in Spider-Man suits and be Spider people?
Psych.
That like they advertise that heavily. Like in the trailers, like they showed those scenes, and what they showed in the trailer is what's in the movie.
And then
Like
even
the 20 seconds of those scenes.
even Sydney Sweeney in like one of those interviews, she talks about how like, oh yeah, the first time you see her, she's like upside down. Like, they're highlighting that moment where she's in the suit. She's
And it's like a
hanging
5
upside
second
down.
scene.
Well, do you think
And
it's
again-
possible that like there was like more to the movie and that
Yeah,
also got
it is
cut?
possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely
100%.
possible.
And obviously they
100%.
hadn't seen it.
Yeah, that's what
until
I'm saying.
later.
Like,
Yeah.
No,
like the
it's
version that
100%.
they think wasn't what ended up coming out.
I know.
Yeah,
It
for
sucks.
well, I mean, Dakota, she didn't go to the premiere, did she?
She went to the
She
premiere,
went, but she didn't watch
see
the
it.
She didn't watch the
Like
movie.
she did
left
the whole
after
red
the red
carpet,
carpet.
and I was like,
And then
I'm
she
out.
said deuces.
I'm out.
Yeah. So I mean, even
Not everybody watches the movie, so I guess if you
Which
didn't,
is fine.
yeah, if you didn't watch it, then you wouldn't know how short those scenes
Parts
were.
are, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like
And you only
all that-
remember everything you filmed, so they probably filmed so much stuff, and you're thinking like this part of the story, this, and you don't know what's cut or not until the end.
yeah, but so that's studio manipulation, kind of like tricking people to go see this movie because you're gonna see Spider Women.
That's marketing. Yeah, like
Well,
that's how
so,
it
but
works.
like, you saw those trailers. Did that make you want to watch the movie because you saw 3 women in spider suits?
me in particular.
Yeah,
no.
you. No, okay, well, but the thing is, I bet you other people are like, okay, I'll watch that. Cool.
Is that
And
why
then-
you? Is that why you all went to watch it?
No, I went to watch it because I like watching
Danny
superhero
is-
stuff.
You're not to be able to see this, but Danny was nodding yes.
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I like watching superhero movies, so I went to go watch it to see if it was good or bad, and then people saw it before I saw it, and a lot of people were saying it was bad.
Why-
I was like, oof, I gotta check this out.
I remember
Why see
these,
Spider-Man when you could see 3 Spider-Woman. But we got bamboozled.
and a Madam Web at the very end of the
That's a
movie.
great word for that, bamboozled.
Yeah. Bamboozled. Yeah, it was bamboozled with bad technical and interesting story decisions.
Why is there a fireworks factory in a Pepsi building? I
And
don't
why
know.
those fireworks can break walls? That is really truly scary. Like those are like the truly like illegal fireworks that you have to like buy down in Key
I
West.
mean, it's in a
And
building
then
that
shoot
was
'em
about
up.
to fall apart, so I can
Yeah,
see how they
they
were
said
illegal.
that multiple
That is true.
times.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a death trap.
But they said we got to get these explosives out of here. But
Yeah,
they
so
never
maybe-
did.
they
No,
never
they're-
did.
You see?
like there was a
They never
fire there
did.
earlier in the movie, and
Yeah.
then they're like, "Oh, let's forget about it."
Yeah.
But the fire didn't
I guess they put
let
out the fire.
any of the...
No.
But the fire did do one thing: release the power of Pepsi. The sign.
I didn't notice. So the scene where she dies, like she has the accident in the car and she goes in the water. So in that scene,
Another
which
web.
I'll give this part of praise because I actually liked how it looked. I like how I liked that when she got in the water, that it like went from her being in the water to like her being kind of like in her thoughts, and then that's when it showed like the web power, I guess. So
Yeah,
I was like,
it's
okay, that looked pretty cool.
The awakening.
And
of
I also
this
like how
baby. Yeah.
it's webs, but it also kind of looked like an eyeball, kind of like synapses on like not synapses, but like the veins of the
veins.
eye.
Yeah.
And the nerves,
And
yeah.
which is like that she gets blind later, but whatever. But so it's like I kind of like that design. So it's like there are not very few things in this movie are like okay, pretty good idea, pretty good, and then like right after that, then it's like oh, okay, that was pretty funny. Oh, it's like I felt like that was me throughout the movie. It was like
That's what I'm saying.
they had some nuggets over here and there of good
That's what I'm
possible
saying.
ideas, but then
But then it's like
it's
you're
like
stepping in poop
but
every
that's what,
like 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was like I wanted to have more moments that I like, but it's like 85% of it is like and
Like,
it's like
a lot of
it's
it's like-
hard. It's hard to point out the good parts because there's to me
So much bad.
There's so many like oof. the bad guy's lines again. Like, why is he barefoot again? And then it was like,
or like a lot of shoehorning things. They're just like, okay, we get it. Anya's like, we understood. Like, yeah, Anya's smart. She's studying to get her stuff. But then at the same time, it's
I
like
eat mathematics on her shirt because she's
like,
smart.
And then like when they're taking Mary to the hospital, it's just like, I'm gonna do the math for all the contractions. Like, that's not necessary. You're just getting to the hospital right now. Like, that's just like, I'm gonna math flex for no reason. Like, that to me is like, there are other ways to showcase that she's capable, intelligent. Like, she's just living on her own now because her dad deported, and she's talking to the landlord. Like, okay, she's scraping by and going
I
through
think
her
it was
wits.
trying to give like a little personality to each character, you know.
That was
They tried.
I don't know. They could have been better than just let's not do it in a high pressure situation.
But I think that's the whole point of the whole movie. Like, they could have done it
They
better.
could have done a lot better.
And
Yes.
another part that I liked, it could have been better, but I liked because it had like some potential. Was, I don't know if we mentioned it, but when she sees her mom and she has like a speech to her mom, I was like, oh, this is like
It should have been like pretty sad or like nice, and I was like,
Because there's the whole point. She's always just mad at her mom, but
Yeah.
then she like sees
But
the whole
now
thing.
she
It's like,
has,
oh,
like-
it's because it's like, wait, I don't have a muscular disease. It's like, why are you saying the line that way? Like, but like. You get the idea of like, oh no, she did this for me, but like
she was like, why did you always hate me, mom?
and like the lines are very soap
like it
opera.
had potential. Like I was
who
like,
told her that her mom hated her? Like, I don't understand where she thought that my mom hated
It's
me.
not that I hated her, but it's like she chose her career over her family, pretty much.
She
But how does
chose
she know
spiders
that?
in the Amazon.
She
over her.
doesn't, because she never got to meet her mom, but she just assumed all she knows from her mom is what
that
she
she
would live with the
died
luggage.
when she had her.
With
That's
the
all she
luggage
knows.
And
full of things
studying
about
spiders.
spiders.
And she's like, this is stupid.
While being aware that she was pregnant.
Which that I get. I agree with that. But like, it was the. I love this.
It blows my mind. It's like
One of the people who got shot, I guess.
when
I
she's
don't
going
know.
through the chest, she's finding her notes and stuff. That's fine. But then she's like, she finds pictures of her
in the
mom
Amazon
with
with
the
my
guy,
mom when
the
she was
bad guy.
studying
So
spiders
that means
when she
it
died.
was a picture of the scene from the beginning of the movie
Yes.
that we see.
Yes.
So who took that picture?
The other people.
The other people died. He shot them.
But they died after that picture.
That's what I think. That's what I think.
Everybody was cool at the beginning.
I
Everybody's
think
like,
that
we're
like
all
the
here.
other
So,
researchers.
Put the photo in the thing, and then he kills everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the
sure.
Polaroid was that fast. Because, he was in the Amazon with my mom
I
when
mean,
she
they
was
were in
researching
Amazon for
spiders
like
just before
24
she died.
hours. They were probably there for a while.
I'm sure they were
Maybe a
there
couple
for
days ago.
years, or I don't know how long they were there. Because they had a whole camp set up and everything.
Yes.
Probably
They were there for a long
few
time.
weeks, couple months, whatever.
And she has
It can't be a couple months. She's pregnant.
When she went,
Wait,
when she was
she couldn't
studying,
even
she
be
went
there
for
for
a
how long?
week.
Because she's pregnant for like 8 months or something. Like was it like, I don't know.
They were saying a couple months. She was there probably for a couple months.
No, like she
couple
was already
weeks,
like
a couple
second
weeks.
trimester. Like she was. It was
Second?
happening.
Because remember, when she went to like wherever
It
she was
was
talking
happening.
to, they're like, oh, you
It
can't,
doesn't matter.
you can't travel right now because like you're pregnant or you can't go there.
Yeah,
and
she's like, yeah,
"Oh,
well,
I'll
you're
go
not giving me an
anyway."
option because I want to like have like a healthy baby, and I might find something that could save my baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, makes sense.
The
Yeah,
realistic
like
routes.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like, hey, I'm gonna go to the wild stuff because it was in the 70s and I'm any options. Like I'm not gonna accept that, which was cool. Like okay, yeah, like I'm gonna go fight for my kid, and then flashback to what we saw in the beginning of the movie with the same terrible ADR and like we had to relive the gunshot scene, which is just really like you're making a bad decision. Like
She says it twice.
this is a bad decision. Like
don't shoot me. You're making a bad
This
decision.
movie was a bad decision.
damn.
Come on, Zach. You got to say at least one. good
Speaking
thing.
of bad
At least
decisions,
one good thing.
No, speaking of bad decisions.
What is going to be our rating of this?
Are we
bad
there
decision?
already?
I feel like I have
I
to
think we
like
are.
I
list
feel
a whole
like, I
bunch of
feel like
stuff.
we
of,
just
like,
talked about the
nitpicks.
first act of the movie. So
We're kinda bouncing
more
around.
honest.
We're bouncing
We've been
around.
all over the place.
Yeah, I think Anthony wants to just say his piece on some things really
I
quickly.
mean, no. I mean, you guys say little
No, I'm
other
done.
nitpicks.
I've already expanded. Just a lot of things are just like from a technical standpoint. I'm just like, why is this a decision that was made? Like, who signed off on this? And then like you guys have talked about it. Pretty sure there's a lot of like studio meddling,
Or maybe
changing
one of those
the
movies. You know those movies that had like a great cast, but ends up being like one of the worst
dog water.
movies?
Yeah, like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Like that one. That's really bad too. This is probably gonna go down as one of those. Just like, oh yeah, like this is You had a pretty solid cast, and you got like
The camera
you burnt
movements
the toast.
and like the edits when they were anytime they would show either the bad guy fighting in his Spider-Man suit and the times when they showed the girls fighting, it's like it was like because I guess they are like upside down on the roof, so it was like this, and then they would flip down and like obviously you can't see what I'm doing because this is an audio podcast, but it was
He's
like
trying to flip up and down.
yeah,
from,
the
like,
cameraman was
ceiling
like
to the floor.
doing bunch of circular motions, and it's just like
The cameraman was Spider-Man. He was just able to just jump up and down. Like that was nuts.
yeah, it was a lot of herky jerks. I don't know how to describe it. I like that, like, but this is only at the beginning. That like when she started getting her powers, like I was saying, the Final Destination vibes. They were trying to go for it, and some scenes were
not a thriller.
weirdly creepy because they were every time there was a loud noise, it was like a jump scare, and so it was like they were trying to put some creepy moments, and then it kind of just went away. That stopped happening.
Is this the train to Poughkeepsie or whatever?
Yeah, the guy that would just like all of these open seats, and that guy sits next to her. Is this the right train? It's like, man, like,
That's a
if
creeper.
someone did it to me, I'd be like, dude,
That's
get away
a
from me.
creeper. Especially like
And then he gets off, and then she sees him later. She's like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, it's like
He asked her again.
Yeah, because like,
Is this
I
the
guess he
train?
went on another like the other side, and then
maybe you
and
are
she's
going
like,
to Poughkeepsie.
she's like,
and he's
I
just
don't
like,
know.
Shut up, guy. Yeah, that was funny.
All the Pepsi stuff was just like hilarious. When she was at the
He
barbecue.
died by the pee.
Oh, okay. So the scene where she dies and goes into her first like web moment.
Yeah.
I chuckled more because I like in that moment.
Oh, they foreshadow.
They
other
foreshadow
stuff.
like the whole movie
The
of like what
bird.
happens. They
Yeah.
show the letter S that falls, and
Oh,
you hear
yeah.
like lines from people throughout the movie. So it was like her essentially like before she knew what was happening, she was like already seeing the visions. Of,
Yeah, it's like
the
everything's
future.
a spider
Yeah,
web.
yeah, I get it.
Like from the
But
moment.
no, but I chuckled because they showed the S, and I was like, "Oh, he doesn't know that the Pepsi sign is gonna kill this guy." Kill this guy. I was like, "Oh my god, Pepsi."
Pepsi Cola.
Oh, I did not understand the whole. After he in the diner when he touches her and like half, like partially poisons her, and her hand is like poisoned. She goes back to the diner and they do like a mind meld thing.
Oh yeah, that made
and
no
he
sense.
like talks to her through her mind. I was like,
'Cause-
what?
No, but it was like a dream. But then it was like then she woke up back in. So like she went there and then didn't because
Or it was just all a dream, but he was talking to her in her dream.
maybe because she was poisoned and that's the dream.
That's what I'm saying. It was a
hallucination
mind
from the
meld.
poison.
Nothing was explained.
That
was
hurt
cool,
my
though.
brain. Yeah, now I think about it. Remember she goes back to the diner and I was like, there's no police tape. And then they go to see police tape. Okay, never mind, there's police tape. But then like you get to like the point where she's trying to like get clues and then like, what are you doing here? And then like they start like talking to each other like from using the force or something from far away. But then it turns out that was all a dream. And so I don't know if that was like a dream or like one of like a future path. It was very unclear and annoying. Because
Hey, it's art. It's up to
it's art.
interpretation.
It's up to interpretation. You know what? We'll leave it at that. I like that.
The I don't know much about Madame Web except from like the cartoon from the 90s of Spider-Man. So I knew of Madame Web was like the old lady in a chair with the glasses, that she's blind and she's paralyzed. I don't know how she gets paralyzed in this movie. They
It's
show
from
a
fall.
firework go through the water and hit her eyes. Okay, she got blind from the firework. But
The
From the
fall,
fall.
from the fall into the water.
When you
And it
hit
broke her
hit
back?
flat water like
But-
that, it's like concrete.
she wasn't that far.
Yeah, she wasn't that high.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who made you the water expert?
I mean,
Maybe the
if she
explosion.
fell from like
bombs from
10
that high, right?
stories.
If like the C of the Pepsi sign
Yeah,
had
if she
fallen
was
on
at
her
the key
legs,
that fell on the guy, if she was that high and then fell. But she was already like down below.
I mean, she's already fallen a few times. Maybe that was just like,
That was the
By the
one
way,
extra
like-
step.
yes.
like the one future she saw, like this guy got a grenade and murdered a pregnant lady.
Yeah.
Like I just want everyone to know that. Like
Yeah, like the,
that was really dark.
Like all of those scenes where she sees them die, it's like very like hardcore killing. It's like snap necks, snap backs. I'm gonna
Grenade.
throw a grenade underneath their car to kill everyone in
No,
the
it was
car.
was it in the under the car? Yeah, it was under
It
the
was
car.
under.
Yeah, it was under the car. I thought it was like in the car. Like, dude,
No,
that's
yeah,
messed
I really
up.
cannot believe this is a PG-13 movie.
Yeah, it's really
Because it's the blood. Like you can get away with a lot if you don't show blood. And the only time they
There's
really
no blood
showed,
splat.
the only blood they showed was when when she had the vision of Mike Epps dying, her friend,
Blood on her hands.
and like she had the blood on her hands, she didn't know what it was
Metaphorically now,
because she spent like an hour pumping that guy's heart with CPR.
And then that guy just woke up like, oh yeah, I'm good.
That was hilarious because she stopped because she was getting the visions, but then after the vision stopped, the guy was like, "Hey, come over, we need you," and she's like, "Okay," and then the guy just goes, "Okay, I'm okay." It's like,
Go, he'll take care of you. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
and then her friend dies like immediately, like after she like tries to stop him.
I think Danny was thinking about the logistics behind that. Like, I think you...
Well, then the
With
three
the
of
truck?
them, the truck?
Yeah, Mike
Yeah,
Epps,
with
like
the
before
truck.
he dies.
with O'Neill.
So they show a clip at night when they get to the warehouse after, showing the street
At the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
with the tire tracks of
Like
where the
that
accident
scene.
happened.
Uh-huh.
And in the area, there's no more road.
So like
It's just like
Mike Epps wouldn't have been able to go anywhere.
He was just gonna drive off
Yeah.
the fear? Like,
Like what?
it hurts. The more, it's just it's those things. It's like, why? Zach is here just speechless because of
Yeah, I haven't said much about this movie. You guys covered like almost everything.
No, we
You're
didn't.
like, yeah, didn't like
But
it.
we
Yeah,
didn't.
didn't
though.
like
We
it.
didn't. Though.
But we didn't. But we didn't. Did we? Like anything else
Is there
you
any
think we
part
might
you
have
did
missed?
like?
What?
No.
Is
What,
there any part you did like or thought had like
potential?
least hate?
The part that Anthony said earlier about like the baby shower thing. That's about it.
Oh.
Little cookout. It's like the only part that was like, okay, like this is okay.
While they're drinking Pepsi bottles,
While they're
like
drinking
very
Pepsi bottles.
awkwardly.
No, she never drank it.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
was
She
holding
just
it.
placed it.
Pepsi guy.
What was like the one glaring, other than the ADR, because everybody can talk about the ADR being
That
just
was-
got off.
that
But
was-
like, what was the other thing? You're just like, dude, what the heck? Like, just like your ultimate facepalm moment.
The rest of the movie.
He's
Okay?
like, he's the movie.
The whole movie. I mean, the one facepalm thing.
One thing. Just give us one thing. Give our listeners one thing.
God, I mean, I don't even know.
Not
Like,
even
what have you guys not mentioned that?
I'm
That
sure
I
there's a
can
lot we
think
Or
of.
haven't
or between what we mentioned, like what was the one that you were just like, yeah,
Just casually flying to
this
Peru.
movie's bad.
Like casually flying to Peru while being wanted for kidnapping. Yeah, that's a thing.
Like, how you get away with that? Like, this is 2003. This is give or take 2 years after 9/11. You know, security at airports is like through the roof. Like, they're gonna have cameras everywhere. They're gonna have people checking IDs.
Did you face palm at his girl in a chair saying, "This is how they look like in your dreams"? And so I guess they're 10 years younger right now. So let's see how they look like now.
It was
That's them. And then she's like, "Oh shit, they're teenagers. I didn't know we were trying to kill teenagers.
He's like, well, it doesn't matter because they're gonna kill me.
They're gonna take everything."
And like he has
That's
his
also
menagerie with the
terrible.
one spider. You're like, what does this guy do? Like he just has a nice penthouse and has the spider in its own little like thing, and then like hires this hacker girl to do hacker things.
He
I just don't think we know his story. Like
We
what
don't.
happened
I would have
him
liked to know
after.
more,
And they
other
could-
than just what he
they could have
Yeah.
spent
vomits out of
5 or
his
10
mouth
minutes
with
to
words.
say a little bit more than his like 3 lines of
I
like.
don't know. I'm telling you,
At
I
least
think,
the
I think
bad-
something changed. Like something
no,
has
for
changed
sure.
A lot of
in this
things
movie where like
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, yeah.
Because to be honest, like most bad guys don't have that much airtime to say like,
No,
oh,
they
this
don't.
is my story and this is how I turned bad. Because that's what we have. We have like Venom, and now we have
The
all these
best
movies
villains
about all
do.
the bad guys, right?
Even like the first guy in the first Venom movie, like that guy is like, oh, I'm the head of this company. Like this is it because I want to like push, you know, the limits of science, whatever. Like that's his mo. Cool. This guy's just like people are gonna kill me. I gotta kill him first. Like, oh, and I also gotta kill this pregnant lady because I like this spider more than you do. Like it's very like. It's like a 4-year-old became a villain. Like I don't want it. Me.
And why were the superhero women like gonna murder this guy? Sydney Sweeney kicks him out of the window.
That's what I'm saying. Like we don't know what
She kicks him out of the window
Like,
and he
we
just
don't
died.
know what he's been doing. How did he became this like millionaire person?
With
Because-
some like
he got powers.
electric
And he
web.
lives for
Yeah,
30
but
years
how do you
younger
say-
now.
Superman has powers, and that guy's broke.
Thank you.
Exactly.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
We don't. But
know.
he doesn't want them to destroy what he built.
Oh my god.
He says it multiple times. So we have to. That's what we
But
know
that's
of
the thing,
him.
like we
And
don't,
what
we
did he
don't,
build?
like we don't know what exactly. We don't know what he built. How he.
I
used
would
his
have
power
liked to
build
know.
that.
He screams
Yes.
at the girl, the hacker girl.
He threatens to kill her
He goes,
too. I was like, damn.
I pay you a lot to do this.
and I'll kill you.
And then he's
too.
like, do it better.
I mean, he
He
always
says, "Do it better." Like you have all the technology in like the world.
The
Do
power
it
of
better.
2003.
You know what?
Just
I'm pretty
skate
sure
better.
English is his second language, so I'm
No,
gonna
it is
defend
the
him here.
actor. The actor is I think French.
No, but even like in the role, like he is from the Amazon, isn't
I
he?
don't
Or
think
from
he's from
that?
Amazon, no.
He's an American.
His name is Ezekiel Sims. There's no way he's from.
He was just a
Peruvian
security
Amazon.
guy that
That's
she
what I'm saying.
hired.
I thought she
But
was
who
a
also
security guy
researched
from
spiders
there.
more than she did. I can't get
And-
over that.
And he
It
wasn't
hurts.
as
And I wasn't as privileged.
we're repeating
you.
as much as they did in the movie. So
It just. Yeah.
We should
was
go,
fantastic.
Okay, we should go ahead and rate this movie. I think we should definitely go
I
ahead
think we need to
and-
watch it
and
again
do
just to
that.
make sure. Like,
Watch it
Again?
one
I mean,
more
you
time.
watched it twice, so I think
And
you've
he's like-
watched it enough.
I think
I
at the
think
point
so.
where he's like getting Stockholm syndrome with Madam Web. So Anthony's like, this movie's actually great. The more I just realize this,
it's not.
all these no, it's not. All right, let's start with Zach's rating because I know Zach's dying to just be like negative 100.
I'm dying to go to the bathroom. So
There
I'm
we
gonna
go.
go first. Oh my god. 0. 0.
You can't give it a 0. You can't give it a 0.
It's 1 to 10.
Just think it's
one.
an 80s movie, so that means it's automatically a 5 for you.
But-
and then just bring it down from there.
God. If 1 is the lowest, 1. I'm just. I have
You're
no words.
flabbergasted.
This is
I really have no
flabbergasted.
words at how bad this movie is. My only thing is like, why did we get this movie? That's it. Like Sony needs to stop trying to make a universe. Just sell the rights back to Marvel. Marvel, buy the rights back from Sony.
Why would they sell
and
it
make
to
it
them?
movies.
They're making.
They make money
They're
off
not.
of it.
No, they're not making. This movie's gonna bomb.
Because idiots like us.
They don't make money off this movie, but every time Marvel does a Tom Holland movie, Sony's
Venom.
like, whoa!
money, and then Venom is like, oh,
Well,
wait,
well,
that
Venom
does
made
still
money.
make money.
But the second one,
That's
didn't
And
make
also
as
the only
Spider-Verse
way.
into the
Spider-Verse, the second one made more.
Well, the second one definitely made more than the first.
So,
It's all about money.
But again, that's like a.
if you
small
make a
out.
movie
It's
with
a small
Spider-Man,
out.
it makes money? That's crazy.
You should have added Spider-Man.
I mean, he was in it. He was in this movie.
So,
Wasn't born yet.
He was just not
Heck,
born yet.
oh my god.
what
Okay.
is your rating since you got to watch it with Anthony?
What did I rate Morbius? That's what I need.
I
to
don't think
know.
we rated Morbius.
I think
because-
we just said it was
I don't know
bad.
if we reviewed it or something.
I don't
We
know
did
if we
review
give it a
Morbius,
rate.
didn't we?
We did.
We did
And
review it.
I
There's no
don't
way
know.
we
If,
reviewed
oh,
it.
we
Sure?
absolutely did.
If we didn't,
had
then
a
we definitely
overview.
talked about it during another review.
Oh, we talked about it. We were like, "Yo, this movie's bad," and then also how like Tyrese was like a cyborg man, but still faster than Morbius.
Yeah, we definitely talked about
Yeah,
how
we talked
bad
about that.
the
Anyway,
Matt Smith
point is,
dancing scene was.
Like, I don't know. I can give it a number. I just like, it's just, it's kind of what I didn't think it would be as, like, I went in there really wanting to be like, no, it can't be as bad as this, and I'm just like, no, it actually ended up being like, despite all like the little good things that I thought, I was like, yeah, no, it's like from how like you make a movie, it's really not good because despite you can have the best actors, like you have people who like are decent at their job, they know what they're doing, but like if it's just there's so many outside things working against it, you're gonna get like, I'm gonna use the cooking analogy again, you're just gonna get like really bad like burnt, like it's like how do you mess up pizza, but like you go and just like torch it and then leave it out for 4 days and then you try to re-microwave it and it gets burnt one more time, like that's what you get with
still
this.
might be a little good though, because pizza's just good in
Well,
general.
that's where you got
So-
like good the good
Like
actors in the
pizza's
movie.
pizza.
We did discuss Morbius on episode 11.
You
Oh
see?
wow!
Wow.
What was
But
the date? What was the
I don't
date?
think we did ratings back then.
No, we didn't.
No.
Because we had multiple, like,
So
That was like when we were
topics.
talking
I'm gonna,
about. Like,
I'm gonna
yeah,
skip.
got
I'm gonna
it.
skip to my. I'm gonna
Nope.
default to the no.
Skip
I'll default to the Morbius, like the Morbius sentiment. Just like yeah, this movie's not good. Like it's just not good.
So a number?
Not good.
Anthony?
Not good number.
It's not good.
Jeez.
Like a 3 or something. I don't know.
We brought food. I love Kung Pao chicken. How did you know? Bless you.
Oh, and the fortune
What?
cookie.
Oh, that's
Oh,
true.
thank you.
My fortune.
That's
cookie's
the
not
end of the
made
movie.
yet.
The fortune cookie.
Oh, that it like was smudged.
Scribbled. Yeah.
See, and I liked like that whole like interaction between them two. Then he like makes a joke of like, "Why are we still eating here? We have to change the receipt paper because the fortune cookie is like." Yeah, them talking in that scene.
Yeah, it's like
that was-
obviously we go to a new place. Like that the whole Ben Cassie stuff was cool, but
she was super awkward when that kid gave her the drawing.
that was
Remember?
great
For like saving
She's like,
her
no,
mom or whatever.
no kids, please
She's like,
no.
and she's like, what am I supposed to do with this?
That was actually fun.
He was like,
Like,
"Oh, just put it in your backpack or somewhere," and
And then
but
throw
she
it
said,
away
"Then throw it away."
It's like, what did she say? Like, how do you fold? Like, I don't know. She's like, I can't fold it.
Like those type of like awkward conversations are like I enjoy that, but
Yeah, that was like the beginning of
last
the
of the
movie
good.
when it was like getting to know her character. Yeah, man. I mean, I saw this movie twice, but well, nobody's giving a number. I mean, he gave it what, like
Is it a
one?
I said a
One.
3.
Oh, you said 3?
I said if I muttered a 3. Like I guess a 3.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This movie's like I feel like I'm normally not like this. Like with like I feel like the movie made it so that I could look at those things. Yeah, I'd give it like a 4, because I'm not gonna say it's the worst thing I've ever seen, because I heard people say that online.
Yeah,
oh, it's the
that's
worst
too much.
thing ever. It's like
That's too
okay,
much.
it's not. I mean, I saw it twice. If it was the
bad,
worst thing
but it's
ever,
Not
I either
bad.
wouldn't have seen it again, or I would have walked out in the middle of it because it was terrible. So it's like it was there, like it was a movie that was made, and it sucks because it clearly seemed like a bunch of stuff happened to this movie. So yeah, I think I'd give it like a 4 or something. I think the Catwoman movie with Halle Berry is worse, and that movie's terrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you like that movie? Or do you like it better than Madam Web?
do you
Yes.
Or worse?
You liked Catwoman better than Madam Web.
Yes.
Catwoman?
Surprising. Okay.
Yes.
the old
With Halle Berry.
The one with Halle Berry. That's the one we're talking about.
like 2000 something?
And Sharon Stone is the bad guy. White lady is the bad guy, basically.
Don't say yes yet. We'll
Okay.
we'll go back and
But yeah, I think
And he's like, we'll go and watch it, and then you'll realize, wow, this movie is. And then you'll watch Elektra, and then you'll be something else as bad.
yeah, I guess 4. What do you
Cool.
give it?
I'll say I did like Morbius better,
Yeah,
but I'll
but they're
give
both
the-
bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think I'll be closer to Anthony on this one with a 4, maybe like a 3.5 to 4.
4 Pepsis.
Yeah,
There you
I'll
go.
give 4 Pepsis.
it's definitely not the worst movie
Zach
I've
is a
ever
Coke
seen,
man. He only took one.
I mean, I'm a Coke man too.
but yeah,
we're all on the Coca-Cola train. That's just one of the,
Yeah.
that's just like
We're-
set.
I think so.
we're a Coke
Yeah.
podcast, so
Yeah.
It's a
Coke,
Coke fan.
Coca-Cola, please sponsor us. You know, we saw that we're bashing the enemy here. This whole Pepsi sponsored stuff. No, I'm kidding. I know that, a lot of listeners want to get some more insight from our special guest here. So Tina, what do you think in the end? Or like, you're gonna have to give it a rating in the end.
I'll give it a rating. Obviously, it's a movie that lacked a lot of
things.
depth to it. Like I said from the beginning, I think the ingredients were there, the talent was there. It was just not executed how it's supposed to. They were cooking instead of baking. And they were making a cake, and it didn't happen. Obviously,
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
maybe yes. I don't know if it was like a lack of manage of all this talent, because you have a lot of talents definitely, and I think the story could have been
Even the
so
director
much better.
directed like episodes of like Emmy award winning shows. Like I think she directed episodes of Succession and like high prestige stuff. So like she's not bad. I mean, again, like I just like to your point. I think something came in. They're just like, do this now, and you're like, but I'm doing this. What do you
Yes.
want now?
Yeah, so I think there was like potential in many areas of it, but nonetheless, like obviously the way that you rate from a different point than I do. Like I read it, was I entertained? Did I laugh? Did I had a good time? And those
That's
three
fair.
things, like I did do. And whether I laugh at the movie and not with the movie, could be. I laugh at a lot of things where I feel like they were really funny. A lot of the lines. Was it cheesy in a lot of moments? I think so. It was like very cliche at moments as like a superhero movie, but how many times can you make a spider hero movie
Without Spider-Man.
with but making it unique or making it so much like
Yeah.
different than the other one without
Exactly.
going to the extreme? And I think it was your cliche superhero movie and with lacking of certain things, and it was the first of its kind too, so I wouldn't expect it to be amazing, but like I said, I laughed, I was entertained, and I had a good time, so I'll probably rate it a 6. I wouldn't watch it again. I don't think I would recommend it to many people or anybody, to be honest.
What if somebody's like, I want to watch a not good movie?
I would recommend
I'll watch
The
it
Room.
again if you go recommend The Room.
Yeah, like you see, like I think about The Room, and
Because it's hilarious.
But The Room is a movie that I didn't expect to like,
I have
and to this day, I think about this movie
Because it's
and-
hilarious.
Yes. So if somebody asks me for a bad movie, I'll recommend that
hey,
instead.
just watch The Room.
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, I would
Madam
rate
Web.
it a 6, and I think it was entertaining enough that, like, I said, hey, I want to be part of this episode. Like, I definitely wanted to share, something on it.
Fair enough.
Because I think for bad movies, sometimes we're so harsh on them for not being the expectation. And it's like, how can you be, like Spider-Man, the last few movies that we have watched, like, you can't, So I thought it was good enough for an entertaining afternoon. But like I said, I wouldn't recommend it again. I wouldn't recommend it to someone.
One thing that I will point out that you just reminded me of that, like, for me, I guess it's a positive just thinking about it now. A lot of people, even with the MCU Marvel movies, have complained that, like, a lot of the origin stories of characters, it's like you have like a pretty good movie, and then by the end, it's like the hero fighting like the hero. It's like a mirror match. Like Iron Man fought another dude in the Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
Black Panther fought another Black Panther. Like, so a lot of the movies kind of, like you said, kind of have a similar formula where the hero fights another version of himself, like the bad version of himself. At least in this movie, like, Madam Web is not fighting bad Madam Web.
Another
She was
version,
just
yeah.
fighting a bad spider guy. But since she didn't have the same powers, it wasn't like a fist fight at the end. So I will give it that it did something different at the end. It wasn't just a man
copy
versus
paste,
man
yeah.
fist fight like all the other ones. So another little notch of
Positivity.
Yeah, like I
a
don't
little
think
notch.
like I said, it's not a piece of art, but I don't think it's as bad as like all of this review make it seem, And I think we've all pointed out unique things that this movie have, whether we're so bad or whether like they were unique or different. Like it had something. Like if you want to watch it, I highly suggest it. Like you can go watch it, but I'm not recommending you to
like,
watch
Don't
it.
pay for it. Maybe
Yeah.
wait till it's streaming.
Yes.
If it gets streamed somewhere, because Sony doesn't have their own service, so they'll
They'll give it to stars.
shop it
probably.
to somebody else.
They always give it to
maybe
stars.
Netflix.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be on streaming soon because it's not doing well in the
Nope.
theaters.
That is correct. Danny, close us out.
We're gonna discuss a totally opposite movie in Dune 2.
Totally opposite movies. So we're going from
Objectively bad to objectively fantastic.
Can't say objectively.
Can't say objective. It's art, my dude.
It's
It's
art.
subjective,
No,
man.
this is objective art.
Like, no, it's just bad and good. That's it.
Well, if you're going to be hearing this episode, more than likely this will be a little bit after or just the weekend that Dune Part 2 does release. So we're giving everybody a little bit of time before we go dive into the sands of Dune and really just get to see what our total impressions are. You may have heard a little bit what Zach thought, but stay tuned for what we all thought, especially since Anthony and I saw it in what I call the Lord's IMAX. One of the best IMAX screens we have here in South Florida. So
We saw it in his gestures IMAX.
in his gestures IMAX,
The Limax.
the Limax, the fake IMAX, the faux Max. So I can't wait to talk about that episode next week. That's going to be really exciting. And until then, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to join in on some of the other things you may have seen or heard about Madam Web, we're gonna post this up when we have our episodes up on your podcast platform of choice. We're also on Twitter and Instagram, so give us a like, subscribe, and a comment when the episode's out. We'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you next time.
Later.
Bye.
Drink your Pepsi.